Okay, so days like today are the reason I have a late night show. It's the reason all the hard work and stress has been worth it because of today's guest. Actually, you know what? I can't do this. We're gonna need to do this again because I need to do justice to this right now. You know what? Hold on. Cue my music. Cue my music. Today's guest is six-time WWF World Heavyweight Champ and WWE Hall of Famer. Give it up for Stone Cold Steve Austin! Thank you so much for being here.
Man, I'm glad to be here. You know what? When you crash that glass, I'm sitting here in the middle of nowhere, and that still, to this day, just brings a shot of adrenaline through me, and I needed it because I've been doing interviews all morning long. I'm glad to be here with you.
I appreciate that. You know, Steve, I gotta say, I know what it feels like to do back-to-back press and interviews, and it can just all blend together, but please know this means so much to me and my show, so know you're making so much difference to my life right now.
Absolutely. You're the coolest person I know right now.
Did you get that? Did you get that? Okay, good, amazing. I want to put my cards on the table for a second. Huge WWF, now WWE fan, but my school was divided into two groups. It was the Stone Cold Steve Austin group and the Rock group. Let me paint you a picture. You're in one side of the ring, Dwayne's on the other side. Who's gonna win a match in 2021? No pressure.
Man, if you're asking me, it's going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin because I'm going to walk in there, stomp a mud hole in his ass, and walk it dry. See, Rock's been out there making all these movies. He's the #1 movie star in the world. I know he's been in the gym, but man, I'm still pretty hard. I'm still pretty salty. I'm still leaning on them beers. And to match us up right here, right now, I'm predicting Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm sure The Rock would tell you Dwayne Johnson.
I tell you what, when he comes on my show, if he comes on my show, I'm going to ask him the same question. I'm gonna ask him the same question, and then we'll tweet it at you, okay? Just so you know.
You go ahead and do that, but I'll tell you what, it'd be a hell of a match, and it was always a deal where I brought out the best in him, and he brought out the best in me.
Absolutely. You two were my parents that raised me. Real talk. That's just what it is. Growing up, the WWF was such a huge part of who I was as a kid. So last night I stayed up until 2 in the morning. It wasn't even my job to do this. I came up with some questions I want to ask you. These are straight from me. Of like silly questions I want to ask you that are just ridiculous, but I need to know the answer to. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Okay, some of them are hard-hitting, some of them less so. First off, how have I never heard someone fart during a match?
Because there's so much crowd noise.
But it happens, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hell, I've done it. Well, hell, I've told the story many times. We was over there in South Africa, wherever we were, Yokozuna. Oh, well, he slammed me. I my trunks.
Okay, you know what? I appreciate how open and honest you are. What about this? As a kid watching you, I would always think Stone Cold's not scared of anything. He comes out and he's fearless. What is Steve Austin actually afraid of?
Sharks.
Really?
My wife loves to go lay on the beach, and she says, oh, you ought to go out there and go swimming. And I say, no, I ain't going to go swimming because that gives some shark a chance to bite one of my big-ass legs off. And if there's one thing that puts the fear of God in me, it's a damn shark in the water. And you get that shark on the beach, I'm not going to give him such good odds. But in the water, no, I am afraid, or I have a healthy respect for sharks.
So we have two match call-outs. We have Dwayne Johnson and we have a shark on land. My last question, and then we'll get to the real questions. This is just all for my personal gain. Your outfit, for as long as I can remember, was just black, solid, underwear, and you got your boots. If you could switch attire with any other wrestler, which would you have switched with?
Man, switch with any other wrestler? I don't know why I would. I wouldn't. I ain't switching with nobody.
Good. I love it. Stand your ground. Speaking of the vest, this leads me to a question about Post Malone, because you have quite a unique friendship with Post Malone. How did that happen?
Hell, I was at the house, man, and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up. My Twitter account just starts going crazy. And I'm like, I didn't even tweet nothing out. I said, what'd I do? And so I start getting on Twitter, and it's like, it's Post Malone. He had worn a Stone Cold replica vest to an award show.
Did you know who Post Malone was?
Man, no, at the time, I hadn't even heard of Post Malone because this was a couple years ago, and this was, I guess, about the time when White Iverson came out. I look and find his Twitter account, and there's Post Malone. I say, oh, the guy follows me. I'll follow him back. Well, when he saw that I followed him, he sent me a direct message. And so I direct messaged him back. And then I wanted to have him on the podcast, but I'm thinking, what are the chances? And all of a sudden, my phone blows up, and it's a FaceTime from Post Malone. Man, I got a standing rule. Guys don't FaceTime guys. The only person I FaceTime is my wife. But I can't, miss this communication with Post Malone. So I take the call, and there he is, and there I am, and we have this conversation. And one thing led to another, and a few weeks later, he came by and did my podcast.
I'm shook at this story. I'm shook at every. Also, the confidence of just cold FaceTiming someone is a lot.
Someone's FaceTiming you that you ain't never met before, and all of a sudden there they are on your phone. So it was kind of weird, but I'm glad he did it.